Welcome, friends. Friday, September 19th, 2025, and it's payday, and we are green today. We made some good trades today and good choices. Remember, don't risk money you can't afford to lose. Do not borrow to play the stock market. Always trade on the simulator. So today, we were a lot more careful. We didn't let ourselves go into red trades, and our efficiency looks really good. Look at that, $20 on the average per winner, and only minus $4 on the losers. We took 11 trades, and we're up $99 on the day, finishing the week green. So our first stock was AGMH, and right from the get-go, we jumped in about 5:30, and we were watching AGHM, and we saw the trend reversal there, telling us that it's purple, that it might be a reversal in the works. So we decided to watch it. And unlike the other days where we jump in, we were a lot more careful. We took our time. It's like the stock market trading thing is like the story of the tortoise and the hare. You can't jump ahead. You can't take shortcuts. You have to play the game. And if you set your own pace and that pace is slow, that's fine. Whatever your pace you've set, stick to it and go with it. The stock market will be there long after we are gone. And so you don't have to rely on one single trade or on one single day to make a lot of money or to make any kind of money. If you like our videos, like and subscribe. It's totally free, costs nothing. Hit the bell if you want to get notified. Leave your comments, questions, even your hate below, if that's what turns you on. So we continue to watch. It's only 5 shares, so there was a couple of things we were testing here. One, whether the stock was going to hold up. Number two, we had lag yesterday. We didn't see that lag today in trading, even into the open. So that was a good thing. We wanted to see what type of volume was out there in the market, and the volume was a lot heavier than it was yesterday. And both the SPY and Nvidia were moving up. So it looks like traders decided to come in and trade early this morning, right before the weekend. So yesterday, I think, was a take profit Thursday. And today, the market said, hey, what the heck? Life goes on. We got to move. We got to trade. And so we got to see some good moves. And hopefully Monday will be the same. So this turns out to be a long hold. We got in, about 5:38. It's already 42. And AGMH is just trading there in that channel. And we're waiting for it to see a nice little green bar, a little bit more volume, and also waiting for other stocks to fall. And as you can see in the scanners on the right hand bottom right, CMMD was making a lot of noise in scanners, but not going anywhere. And there wasn't anything else. VRCA also started making noise. They had news, but it wasn't popping. And remember what I said about 5:45 being my key time that I begin to observe for that runaway stock. So we're looking here, but our trendy little reversal indicator says, no, I think this is coming down. So I think right before the open, traders were cautious and they're watching just the same way I'm doing it. And I'm just in it here with 5 shares. And I call that the price of admission. And this is to stay on the pulse. If you get into a lull and say, oh, you know what, there's really nothing to trade, I'm going to cross my arms and just watch it, and then the market begins to pick up, you're going to have a ramp-up time, and that ramp-up time may be the key to a winning or losing trade. So it's best to stay alert, to stay engaged in the game, so that keep your eyes trained, keep them moving, and stay with the flow of what's going on screen. And that way you can make better decisions and faster decisions. And that's precisely one of the goals that I had for today was get back to just entering with 5-10 shares, number one. Number two was to, I haven't been as quick. There have been good entries during the week, and that we could have made more money. We could have come out a lot cleaner, and we didn't because we weren't fast enough. So today I was a little bit more pumped up about being more ready and alert on a Good Friday. So that's what we were hoping for. So there's a little bit of a move up here, but I'm still not trusting it. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go in with more shares. But the stock was holding, and even though after this trade, it does hold. So in this trade, we began to not be so enamored with it, and we get out on $2.26, and it's about 5.46. And then ZOOZ, ZOOZ, begins to hit the scanner, and this is about 20 minutes later. And believe it or not, I left the screens and I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to hold off and wait until they open. And I was actually preparing the thumbnail and or a few thumbnails. And ZOOZ starts making noise, and I decided to look. And there's this great green bar there, and right here I haven't gotten it. I got in, and there was no time to turn on OBS recording. So that's why you see I made $19 on that first trade. And then I continued to watch it, and I thought, you know what? This looks like it's going to head up. Make a good choice. I looked at the daily, and it looked like it had a little bit of a potential. But this was something that I knew would turn around or could turn around. And so I wasn't going to be stuck in it for a long period of time or let it get me into a losing trade. So I try to get out there on the red, and it doesn't let me. So I decide to continue holding. And it's a good thing I did. It just jumps up, boom, right off the bat. And I'm trying to get out. I finally get out and make $75. And I jumped ahead a little bit, but you can see what happened. It just sold off, and it continues to sell off all the way down to 3 something. So that was a great trade, and we were almost set for the day. But we still had quite a bit of. We had over. We started the day with $2,875 in the cash account, and we still had a little over 2,300 at this time. And AGMH was stuck in my head for some reason that I had that it was going to be the trade of the day. So I continued. Here we see the EMAs curling right back up. We see the MACD starting to curl up, and so we jump in with just 10 shares. And this was stubbornness on my part, and as it turns out, if you look at the whole day and what AGMH did, we were just way too early. So, but you can't know. You know, if you knew, you'd buy as much cash as you put as much cash as you have into a stock like this, and then hold it until it hits 20. But that's not going to happen. But in retrospect, I have gone into the Thinkorswim simulator, the on-demand simulator. So I put in a random date from a year or 2 years ago, and I look at some of those stocks, and they're under $1. And now you look at them, and nowadays they're $12, $13, and you think, wow, if I put in $1,000 on each of those stocks, it would have been a nice return. But hindsight is 2020. So these 2 trades are going to be the longest on here on the video. And The reason I leave it in, I said, "What do you leave it in? It's just nothing's happening. It's just moving sideways." The reason is you have to study the bars, the movement, and you have to study what's going on with level 2 in time and sales, because the more you study it, the more you can tell and the more you can see whether or not this stock is going to hold. You can look at, oh, I've got a bull pattern, I've got a bear pattern, I've got this pattern, it's going sideways. In the end, we're trading momentum and we're trading volume, and for that we need more traders in the trades and in our specific instrument, specific symbol, to be there with us so that they can help raise that stock price, and then we can just ride along. And that is the objective. The objective is not to memorize bar patterns and know what's going to happen. And I keep saying this: your chart is a replay. It's think of it as a YouTube replay. It's 5-10 seconds behind you, and what's really going on is in the time and sales. Those are quantified transactions that have already occurred, and they may not reflect, and the chart may not reflect what's happening there. Your level 2 is how buyers and sellers are positioning themselves, and the quantities of bids and asks are important because they let you know whether folks are buying in and folks are willing to sell. If folks are lining up to buy but nobody's willing to sell, the price movement and the momentum is going to come to a halt. Likewise, if a bunch of people are selling but nobody's bidding and nobody's buying, the same thing, volume dies. So you have to have a good number of both and good action. You don't want excessive amounts. You don't want to see a constant flow of heavy trading, 500, 600, 1,500 on one side and the same on the others, like you see, for example, crypto stocks. If you look at those, some of those are pretty heavy, the lower priced crypto stocks. Some of the higher float stocks, they have 1 billion, and there's always 1,000 bids. And think of it, 1,000 bids in the ask times 10, it's a hell of a lot of bids. And likewise for the asks. So you want something that works for you. The other thing, I don't know if I discussed this, and this goes without saying and goes around all the YouTubers speak to this, that we want to go after low float stocks. So the lower the float, the greater is the demand. And that certainly holds true. So the scanners I have, I think they're set for about 60, 65 million shares. Now, Thinkorswim does not show you the float, only the share. So that's all I have to guide myself with. So I have to keep another window open that shows me what the actual float is to make sure that if it's worthwhile. So some stocks don't show up here because they're over that 60. Now, ideally, you want to trade something that's below 20, something that's below 10, but that isn't always the case. And I've tried to constrain the scanners down to 10 and found that I wouldn't get any stocks. I'd really be sitting and twiddling my thumbs all day long. I tried 20, and it depends on how busy the market is. The same thing goes. So I increased it to 60, and 60 is a good medium. I've traded in the past with stocks that had 100 million float, shares of float, and made a little bit of money. But it is true that the demand and the momentum will levitate to lower float stocks. So we continue to watch AGMH. We're only in with 10 shares, and it's playing us up and down, and it's now 6:23. We're about 7 minutes away from the open. And the good thing is that nothing else is moving. ZOOZ, which we just made, $75 on, has dropped all the way to 475. It went up as high as I think 9, and then it dropped $5. So nothing else is really moving. So this sort of tells me, hey, you know what? From 645 to 623, this stock has been collecting, accumulating, and holding at a certain channel. So at one point, this thing is going to go. And I was kind of hoping that it would go at the open. And my thought here is, well, I've got 10 shares, perhaps 2 or 3 minutes right before the open, this starts moving up, and I'll go in for 200 shares. And but it didn't pan out. And actually, we see the MACDs begin to level out, and the amount of volume is slower. And we see long tail weights as well. But overall, we had a good Friday. We had a good week. We're up $306 on the month, and our efficiency is getting better. And before, I was very focused for the past, I think that in August and before August, or January to August, my focus was on trying to get my trading percentage, winning percentage up from about 40%. I got it up to about 60%, and I wanted to hit 70 and 80. And my thought was, if I hit 80% and I win on 80% of my trades, I should be okay. I should start making money. But that wasn't the case. I started to look deeper, and what was happening is my winning percentage was going up, but the amount of money the average amount of money I was making on every winning trade was still less than the money I was losing on on losing trades. So this month, as of yesterday, we had 8 winning trades, and we had 4 losing trades, or 9 winning trades and 4 losing trades. So about 40% of them were losers. But the reason we were up $206 was because the winners were, even though they were less money, they were around $15, and the losers were around $17, the average. We had more winners than losers. So it's important to do that. And yesterday I spent time going through the reports and looking at these numbers, looking at the details, looking at the cumulative P&L, and looking at my drawdown to see where I'm at. And I feel a lot more confident, a lot more clear about what I'm doing when I'm trading, whether it's pre-market or open market. And that is allowing me now to focus on other things and looking at the reports. And so when I tell you guys that trading is not something you can copy, not something that you can shortcut your way through, that's absolutely true. You have to experience it yourself, and you have to jump in, capture as much as you can, do it in the simulator. When you start trading live, just do it with 1 share and don't choose expensive stocks. And that way you get the feel. And everybody's eager to make money, right? So you're going to jump in, and you've got 3 or 4 months under your belt in the simulator, and you've been making money there. You come to the real world, and you find out it's totally different. And so what you have to try to do is not focus on making money, but on training yourself and to adapt to the market. And remember, as I said, it is not one time that you adopt. You're going to have to adopt yourself every day, every week, every month, and especially when there are reports and the market changes, because there are a lot of fluctuations, and you have to, once you focus on your indicators, you've got your methodology and your strategy down, and you're able to focus on the screen and all the indicators, then You move on to looking at the market pulse, and then that way it helps you. And then you start looking at your reports, and you start looking at where it is that you need to improve. So we lost a little bit of money there, but we decided to go back in. We still think that this stock, even though there's a reversal up there and a big red bar, we still think that there's a potential. So what I'm thinking here is, you know what, I'm going to risk 10 shares and on the fact that this is going to bounce back up. And like I said, we're very close to the open now. We're a minute away, and that was my hope. Sorry about that. Thinkorswim, the charts are like difficult redraws, and we're trying to fit all the indicators in there. So we're in with 10 shares again. But you notice up in the upper left corner, I see that E down means that the EMA is down for the crossovers. And the other one says stage accelerating, which means that it's not accelerating. It's accelerating, it's accumulating and going up. It's decelerating, it's accumulating, it's bearish and going down. So we're in the open, and I think we see a little bit of green hope, but we weren't fast enough to get out, and it really doesn't matter. And we weren't willing to risk a whole lot of money either, because this enters the open market and begins that whiptail. So we just get out. We lose $2.60, and WLDS is looking semi good there. It's above $6. I didn't like this because it's a continuation. It's been hanging around, but some folks might like it, but we just didn't get in. I guess while we were watching the other stock, we could have moved into this one and gotten in like at 545 or 550. And so we take a high position here, but it's only 20 shares. And it took a couple of times for us to get filled, so I have to buy market. It's not as laggy as it was yesterday. I wasn't seeing any of that stuttering. And we needed to manage our risk, so we just get out. And this is what happens. It just almost double tops there and sells now. Still nothing is moving. I have AGMH in my watch list, and I began to see it support right around 730. And I think, well, maybe this is when it's going to go. And you see there, it's already up at 750, 760. Again, not trusting buy bid because it takes too long, so I just jump in market for the move up to 8 was my thinking. And you see the cyan lines I have there, and the cyan lines depict a new channel for me. So I think this has been accumulating since back at 530 all the way to here. So it should have, a lot of traders in the chamber there that are willing to take it higher. And that was my thought. And we got in not too low, not at the low end, but certainly in the moving stages. and our indicators are okay. But again, there must be hidden sellers here that are keeping it down, because I can't tell. And because we went with buy market, of course, we got filled at 759, which is a little high. And with 20 shares, we're not going to make much money. And what begins to happen here is I begin to see the MACD sort of curling and leveling off. And I begin to lose trust. Volume starts to turn grayish. And so we opt to get out. On this trade, we lost $10.20. So at this point, we're about $68 or $10.65. We're about $60 after this trade that we lost here. But we go. We're not deterred. We're stubborn traders. And this is another stock that likes the VWAP too. I'm curious to see it where it's at now. So here it jumps up, we jump in, and now we see opportunity. Knock on the door. And we go in with 20 shares. Then what I'm waiting for here is to jump up to that cyan line, which does happen there. And boom, we flatten out at the top. And that was $19.10. Because of the deficit, it only shows 1206. And it goes into a halt. And luckily, we sold right before the halt. We weren't going to make the same mistake as the other days that hold it in while the halt takes place. Now, don't worry. I'm not. I don't. I cut the video, so we'll be back here in a second. It's 7:12 in the morning, and right now we're up 87, and here it comes back. And there is a slight pullback, but not much of a pullback. And we're waiting to see. And long tail wick. But it picks itself right back up. Look at that, into 11, $2 more. And so we missed that one, but that's okay. We're just being cautious. But we don't see any signs of stoppage, and it hits 1150. And so we're not fully decided yet whether this pullback is a good thing. But in the end, we become convinced, and we jump in. I don't remember whether we jumped in how much, 30 shares? Yeah. And I think we decided to go with buy market because it was a lot quicker. So we wait for the pullback, which is it's a good thing, and it's a small pullback. And a 5 minute looking good. MACDs are okay. One of them is pointing sideways and curling down. But we've already seen two of these bars spike up. And right around here, we get convinced we're going to take that trade and get a few cents out of it. We're looking for a bigger jump, but it just doesn't happen. We're already up on the day with enough. So we're not going to take too much risk. And we take the trade. Have a wonderful weekend. See you all guys Monday.